Exactly, the face of the struggle.
Because again, I think he was probably the one that spent the longest time in prison.
And it was almost the youngest in some of the people rallying the movement.
That was Steve Biko.
Steve Biko, Walter Sisulu, Oliver Tambo.
Good.
Solid.
Even, I mean, a lot of respect also to Winnie Mandela.
Yeah, Winnie, the wife. Well, you know, so those were people, some of them lost their lives, some of them were also in prison, but you know, eventually in the struggle, somebody has to be the face of the struggle. And that happened to be Mandela, really. Because there were a lot of other people behind the scene. The younger ones of the apartheid era were people like Jacob Zuma, Thabo Mbeki. You know, probably even the current president was probably going to be one of the youngest at that time during the struggle. They were all the ANC members. So reading through Nelson Mandela's autobiography, The Long Walk to Freedom, you probably will see the roles many African countries played, particularly Nigeria. But the question is, this generation of black South Africans, how conversant are they with their own history? That's the question. Do they even know where they were coming from? Apart from maybe a few of their leaders who probably lived the apartheid era, who lived through the apartheid era, most of the guys in the streets shouting blacks are coming to take our jobs were never born. They didn't even, there's no connection really. But they live in the era where they were born into what is supposed to be freedom
and equality.
And what they are born into was the promise of freedom, a rainbow nation where all race,
all colors,
colors matter, they live in equality, equal opportunity. But 3 decades down the line,
some people drove you into that freedom you are enjoying.
So what they see is not the apartheid of old, but what they consider economic apartheid. A lot of the farms are still owned by whites. In fact, I was watching an interview, for example, of the wealthiest man in the world, Elon Musk. His father, you know, he's from South Africa. His father is one of the biggest owners of. They gave them freedom, but they took over their economy. And what they've done is to continue to ensure that, look, they don't rise above where they want them to be, really help them out of the effect of apartheid. And so what they see are other Africans who to dominate them, set up businesses, and
employ them,
and even employ them, or probably take the jobs that they hope they would have been able, but they don't have the skills to take those jobs.
True.
So unfortunately, after Mandela left the scene, if you've gone through the failures of the government that have come behind, one of the biggest is Jacob Zuma. That was a complete disaster.
Please don't go there.
That was a complete disaster. You know, so instead of people who had come after Mandela to consolidate on what Mandela had achieved, get into the system, drive a system that can see some form of economic emancipation for black South Africans, they've left them frustration. You can see that the government appears helpless.
Just looking at that.
Because what then are you going to tell them? And that is why somebody like the other guy in the EFF, what was his name now, the one that was sent to jail recently,
Malema,
who is, you know, had not necessarily your problem. It is the failure. You know, he was part of the ANC before he left to form his own party.
Yes.
And what he has been saying is that, look, we have still not addressed the most critical issue affecting us as blacks in South Africa, and that is economic
reconciliation and all of that.
Because the idea would have been, oh, we want the whites to live the way we chase them out of other African countries. But again, whites have left us. The reality is that, look, there's still neo-colonialism in one form or the other. Prosper together. But the reality is, somehow, the system is structured to ensure that, look, there's that imbalance. The whites are way up.
I mean, there are cities in South Africa within provinces that are 100% white dominated.
And blacks can't. They dare not direct it at the whites in South Africa. They don't even go near them.
They shoot them.
And so how is the system able to protect the whites?
And they can't protect
the problem in what we see in South Africa. And so the critical question is, have they really gotten out of the era of apartheid in reality? How free are they? Yes, they are able to move freely in their own land, but being able to move freely in your own land does not necessarily mean you have.
There's a difference.
Freedom means equal opportunity. And you know the thing about systemic apartheid. You don't really see it if you're not
it's not. Yes, there won't be that black or white that go to me.
But if you go into the system, you begin to see the discrimination of the era. Are the government people who take over the institutions, who are supposed to work very hard, create situations that can lift
that people
the generation that came up, and whether they like it or not, they have to vent their frustration and anger on some people. And it's unfortunate that they have to now put it on fellow black Africans who are there.
Oh, we're talking about illegal immigrants. So how does that make sense?
So the reality is, I think that the Nigerian government would have to do more to engage the South African government, that we have to protect our own people. There's an international convention for foreign nationals. While you protect your own people, you must also protect the foreigners who are living legally
in your state,
in your country. If they are there illegally, there are also global standards of how to get them out of your country. True. Their rights must still not be violated. So at the end of the day, Cyril Ramaphosa will go beyond just talking. They have to extend it to other black nationals in their countries. We've just said it now. The reason why these guys cannot go near them is that there's a system that protects the whites, the privileged whites in their country. They have to expand that protection to other black. Go to school as a black South African.
So he wants to be a doctor,
accuse a medical doctor
of taking his job.
It does not make any sense.
Okay, sorry, yes. One thing I want to look at it is, let's look at the freedom as a package, different layers.
Yes, independence.
Whatever it is, that is layer number one. The layer number two is, how can we empower our streets? They have to complain.
They could not learn anything.
They could not learn school, anything. In fact, because who will teach you? The white man will not teach you. So after that independence, after that era, I think the subsequent government, it's the white that would have taught you. But then,
and the situation was obvious.
Yes,
they denied them everything.
They denied them everything. Now that you have succeeded in taking them off your head, now we have taken this government or this administration or the management of our lives. How do we empower, or those who have gone midway? This is how you are going to be involved. Now they have got
even the issues of artisanship.
I'm saying artisanship. They are neither bricklayers, no dry cleaners, no vulcanizers.
If they are gainfully employed, they will not be in the streets for days.
They will not. So how do they get the money? So they look at the Nigerian vulcanizer. What are you doing here?
And you're making money.
We are making what they were not taught. They were not
trained
to do. Do you understand? So their own impression is, if this one were not here, they would have taken advantage of this.
Because nobody will.
When Nigeria is involved in some of these liberation struggles, we had no policy of benefiting from it.
We're just playing big brother role.
And go.
Having a stake.
Look at lost so many soldiers in Liberia and Sierra Leone. Nigeria should have put some policies in place that
right of refusal to your resources. If they're exporting your resources.
And that's what America does.
That's what US does.
So we went to Liberia. We resolved.
We just played big brother. We left. Sierra Leone sacrificed.
We lost soldiers. We spent money. ECOMOG was solely.
Oh, what? Okay, look at it this way. Do you have a Nigerian company as big as MTN? As big as
South Africa?
In South Africa. You don't have. So in other words, the benefits even reversed.
And they'll be protected.
And be protected. But now we don't have them. So we just finished. Hey, South Africa, you have independence. So see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
So we are just sowing seed of freedom everywhere.
Now, see you. Bye.
Sierra Leone, the same thing.
See you.
Sao Tome and Principe, Benin Republic. See you. Bye.
Nothing. We have no presence there. So which is the wrong policy of successive governments. We'll go into a country, lose our soldiers, lose our resources, and just come out.
We're still talking before the show about the decision of America to have military bases all over the place. And that, look, the reality is that America has reasons for doing these things. And as they do it, they map out what it should count for.
At the end of the day.
As a foreign policy. So it's not done in isolation. There are reasons behind taking these decisions. So the big brother, and that's why people are saying that whatever Trump is doing now in the name of America, again, there was a need for these things. America did not set up these military bases
just for
the big brothers.
They want
have what you call a global space for influence. The more influence you have in the global space,
the more control you have.
The more control, and then the more prosperity you can get for
yourself.
Remember that there was a rush for trade era. There was a need to have a redesign, global redesign for how to take resources out of different parts of the world. And so what they did was to say, okay, how do you do it by not necessarily capturing their people or taking over their government? give them this to take this. Still the same old way of doing things, but in a different form. So what they did basically was to say, look, if you want us to protect you, you have to do this. They didn't just give Europe protection for free.
And because that protection was needed at that time. There was not
so, like Mr. Koda was telling us before the show. So when there was no, as it stands, forget it. All of this idea that somebody's going to attack anybody in Europe is just
nobody's attacking anybody.
But to begin to have protection arrangements with Saudi Arabia, with Bahrain, with UAE for free. You can see that for every time Donald Trump comes in as president, he's happy to go to the Middle East. He goes to Saudi Arabia.
Like
and you can see things are strategic. These things comes with at a cost, and it has to count for something. Look, Donald Trump will tell Ukraine, oh, if you want us to continue to protect you, you want security guarantees. Yes. Oh, no problem. Give us access to 50% of your. Would not find America, for example, going to a territory that
where there's
no
nothing
oil.
For them. Yes.
Look, if you like, go. Let's look at a country that has nothing to really offer them. If you like, kill yourself from now till tomorrow. They will not bother.
Trump will not even look at you. Who are U.S. business in South Sudan?
So a lot of these things come. Oh, there was civil war in Liberia. We went in there, resolve it. Put a steady government in place. We did the same thing in Sierra Leone. We freed them from the scourge of civil war. As Nigerians, you must see us as your saviors, not necessarily as a threat.
Okay.
But where we are, we have to engage.
It's diplomatic.
Look, this idea of going after South African companies.
No,
it will hurt our people.
It will, because we can't be mentioning them. 90% of their workers are Nigerians. Yes, so if you attack those companies, if you close those companies down, you are throwing more people back.
No, the idea of even nationalizing, like Xiomé was saying, it does not think we can.
On what basis should we even want to nationalize?
It's out of place to
so you want to nationalize those businesses? Yes.
Yeah, there are procedures and are very, very possible. At least we nationalize AP.
African.
So have we managed those things?
No, this is what I'm saying. There's no way you can do the same way the person that had the idea
and will
do it. You get it now. But if that hurts them, it's time to manage. But then these petroleum companies have not been well managed, not because they were not well taken over, because the attitude of Nigerians. That normal attitude. You understand it now. How many times have we had xenophobic attack?
This is about the fourth time it's happened in the last 12 years.
Which can be managed. But just as we are saying, let the South African government now consequences.
What you are doing, if they do it to us too.
The consequences. How much do we get from our companies, from youths who are on the streets? Just as you are saying, I had an example of people who would rather be on the streets
and be gainfully employed.
No. Where? Who would rather be on the streets than during June.
Get to work
in motion here. You get it now? So people who are supposed to be area boys, the capons of area boys, but some on a riot day. Because most of
you got your tires fixed?
No, yes, I got it fixed. The boy said, I said, look, these people are coming saying, man, what did they buy?
Because they have what?
The mob came and they went this way and they went this way. But if he had nothing to protect,
he will have joined
be one of them.
So the numbers will keep increasing.
He will be one of them.
That's like, how do you sustain a protest this long?
Do you understand? The Nigerian space itself, they would always say that how you present yourself is how people judicial killing. So I understand the politicization of this issue. South Africa are also preparing for the election, and one of the reasons why the South African government is quiet is because they don't want to condemn. Yesterday said they've opened a register at their headquarters, and over 200 Nigerians have applied. On Nigerians' diplomatic expression out there, how do people see us as a nation, Mr. Kodwa?
No, it's not that. You're not looking at it that way. People see us the way our media report us. Nigeria, put Nigeria on the scale. Nigeria is not a poor country. But why do you have our people
running out of
the country without visa, without passport,
going through obscure,
go by being stolen away in the ship and enter South Africa? Some just one way or the other,
Some of them are there in South Africa with that document and they cannot leave.
They don't take care of his citizens. But the mismanagement and corruption. That's why you see the protest yesterday with their banner. Go and fix your country.
Yes.
Go to be so treated in South Africa. How many are they? They are not. In fact, when they are specialists and the rest of them, although that the doctor has taken. But those menial jobs, for those who obviously don't have skills
to work in a formal system,
in the formal
that you can do.
That can do $9 per hour. What was that? That is a carpenter workshop hand that you can carry one bench and take it to the showroom at the end of the day.
Plier.
These are the kind of things these people are looking at, and these are the kind of things Nigerians do. You get it now, because they don't have other things to do. Number one, because they are not citizens of that country, and number two, it's their lives. So that by the time a Nigerian leaves, let it be somebody who has something concrete to offer, not houseboyship. The way we report our corruption in the papers everywhere, the whole world can enter Nigeria, and Nigeria will sustain them.
Yes.
If there is no corruption.
Yes.
So now when they say go and fix it, go and remove all those corrupt people from government and the rest of them, that is the fixing we are looking at. So the first thing we should do is to sit down and say, enough is enough for corruption. Do you understand it now? And apart from the fact that some people just want to go out for going out sake, do you understand? Some people just live for living sake. Some people jackpot for jackpotting sake. Not that they really have something to offer. Because you that are not trained in Nigeria, what are you going to do abroad? That's whether you die or not, it doesn't matter. Let me just get to the other side. For what?
And then you get to the other side, you probably be struggling to want to even come
become
back.
Prostitutes, don't become because the drug cartels will protect you.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, the
and
women
they welcome
something
you.
else. Yes, that is it. But so let's look at this South African thing, that it's a two-way thing. You talk about politics. If you look at politics in Africa today, if the politics in Africa is like anywhere control those people, the opposition will take it up. They will lose the election. So what we should do is, let's put our house in order. Government will be enough to take care of all these people.
Okay, we have some sound bites, and so that we'll wrap up this conversation around the Nigerians are killed. Let us be proactive. Let us, take advantage of our diplomatic relations with South Africa.
Sorry, even if we repatriated, now what would we do for them?
That's what I'm saying. What do you want to use? Even we were there, said, they were giving assurances that the killings will stop, the attack will stop. But I watched the address of President Cyril Ramaphosa. He didn't condemn the attack. He was just saying that, if Senator Shehu Sani and of course Barrister Smart Nwobi, all of these people will just help us wrap up the conversation around the xenophobic attack, and we hope that Nigerians will continue to stay safe out there.
And I want to use this medium to talk to you. Please look at the youth of Nigeria. We are really suffering.
Politics plays its part in everything that defines us as a sovereign entity. Isn't it right to discuss what makes it tick? When the main actors converge in the power corridors to make decisions that affect the next meal, shouldn't we probe even deeper?
Nigeria is suffering. The suffering is too much.
When it comes to the complexities of politics, we strive to give it clarity, to deepen your understanding as the listener.
The decisive factor will be knowledgeable leadership committed to good governance.
Make it a date with Oᴏᴜᴇᴇ and Saeed Fuad on Midweek Politics every Wednesday from 1 to 3 p.m. on your top dial, Mainland 98.3 FM. Politics, it's a whole meal.
Political enemies, they don't want you to succeed. Have you just realizing that? No matter what I do, they will still abuse me.
Don't vote for me. I don't want that vote. I don't want a xenophobic vote. I love my African people. The same way I love my mother and my grandmother. I'm in love with Africans. Africans are hated everywhere. You go to America, the black skin is a source of hatred. You go to UK, a black skin is a source of hatred. You asking me to join in the hatred of black people. I know what the hatred of my skin did during apartheid. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be asked that I should stand at the border, at the fence between Limpopo and Zimbabwe and block a mother who's carrying a child, only crossing to get a medication in Musina and going back to Zimbabwe because there is a problem in Zimbabwe. I refuse to join that chorus. And if that will not make me the president of this country, I'm happy that let me die with my conscience being clear than being a president who has emerged through selling out his own soul. Nobody asked me to feel like this. I feel very strongly about black people. I feel very strong about African continent. And I would rather not be a president because I know for a fact that this is an establishment that is spreading this anti-blackness that we experience everywhere else. It's not true. These jobs in the restaurants, these Lesotho women who are working in our houses, our sisters don't want to work there. They've gone to schools. They want quality jobs. Not that they look down on these jobs. They're saying, I cannot, with a diploma, with N6, with qualifications, go and be a domestic worker. We want more. Who wants to go and work and be paid with wine in the Cape Farms? Who wants to do that of South Africans? Let me and you take trucks and buses now and go and fetch those foreigners who are working there during harvesting season in the Cape wines. Let's go and take them. And let's see what's going to happen to those Cape wines. All of those grapes are going to get rotten because our people will never agree to work in exchange for wine. Never will I. Nothing will persuade me. Not the results of the elections, not a gun on my head, not any form of intimidation will persuade me to hate on black people. I will never hate on Africans, not even for votes. Do not vote for me if you don't love Africans and you want me to hate them. I won't do that.
There is no country that has made sacrifices for humanity like Nigeria. We were in the forefront of the struggle against apartheid. Nigeria's salaries, civil servants, part of their salary was cut to pay ANC to continue fighting. Mm-hmm. We gave scholarship to South Africans to come to Nigeria and study in Nigerian universities. We gave money to Mandela during the struggle. And then for all these things we have done, Nigeria has not been paid a dime. And then somebody somewhere will look at you and call you a nation of criminals. Before our independence, Nigeria was in Congo. We stabilized this country. Mm-hmm. After our independence, we were in Tanzania. We provided troops in Lebanon in 1978. Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed.
Nigeria.
Peacekeeping.
Before our independence, Nigeria provided 45,000 troops to World War II. Mm. We helped free Europe from the hand of Nazi. Nigerians fought in East Africa. Nigerians fought in Burma. Nigerians fought in China. Nigerians fought in Germany. Lives of Nigerians were wasted. Put that aside. Come forward to 80s. Look at what we did in Liberia. Look at what we did in Sierra Leone. We were there under Colonel Olagunye Onilola. He was the head of UNISOM that brought peace to Somalia.
There's two sides to this story, and this is what you talk about fairness. So let's mention, for example, the economic impact that shows, our own statistics, South Africa show, that each immigrant that is having a business here employs at least 3 to 4 people, contributes taxes. Nobody ever talks about that. We never talk about the dysfunctionality of Home Affairs in terms of its documentation crisis, where most people who are deemed, quote, illegal are simply without documentation. We don't talk about the 4 million South African citizens who are undocumented, who have to wait years for their documentation. What about them? What about, it's a documentation crisis, it's a systemic crisis. And what we're saying is, we recognize, I wonder why, for example, there was no mention of the Kopenhagen African Xenophobia March, which happened 2 weeks ago in this very city with hundreds and hundreds of people with exactly the different kind of message. We don't talk about these things. So we're creating a very similar kind of thing to the United States, which is this anger that is then directed towards those.
Let me tell you the truth. If you still live in South Africa, most people won't tell you this, but I'm telling you this right now. I arrived from Lagos in 2006 with dreams, and South Africa shaped me deeply. It refined me, stretched me, and gave my music another language. But they also gave me wounds I cannot deny. I remember being stopped by police because I was driving a nice car, and the first question was, where are the drugs? In that moment, I understood what it feels to be judged before known. Another time, I was trying to help one of my visitors who forgot their passport, and I was thrown in a police van and taken to downtown Johannesburg station, where the officer said they would make sure I rot in jail. Another experience I had was creating a music for a national project in South Africa where it was accepted. But the moment they realized that the producer was a Nigerian, they abandoned the project. We are Nigerian, there's going to be a problem. It happened to me, and later I had to leave. So when xenophobia arises, I do not speak from theory, I speak from memory. Some of you have serious investments in South Africa. It's not something you can shut down overnight. But unfortunately, you have to start to make plans to leave. It's going to get worse. And you don't want to be the scapegoat for what they are feeling. Whether you have your papers in place or not, please leave. That's what I'm going to say. Whatever I shared just now is just a joke. Trust me, compared to real things I felt. I don't have the courage yet to share all of the things that I went through. It's crazy. South Africa, You are loved, and I wish you guys the best.
Okay, that was a lengthy one, so we had to play those sound bites. You heard the sound bites of Julius Malema, is the leader of the opposition in South Africa. Of course, he just got sentenced recently, although he's still being appealed to 5 years for unlawful gun control and usage in an open space. But he was very clear that if it means it sound like when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu say, if I don't give you electricity, if I come back for a second time, don't vote for me. But that is how serious the people are taking this phobic. That is just a major issue. We'll also listen to Senator Shehu Sani talking to us about how no other country in the world had made so much sacrifice to other countries, something in return. We were not getting anything in return. We are just doing Big Brother go and come back. And also we are hoping that the Nigerian government will do enough. The delegation of the government led by the president of the Nigerian Senate would also go in there. If there needs to be an element of reminder, listen, we were part of your story. In case you didn't tell your children, we would remind you their fathers. Now let's go political. The journey of the ADC started in October 2025, where the coalition adopted the ADC as a platform upon which they want to contest the 2027 election vis-a-vis take power from the ruling All Progressive Congress. The composition, the leadership, the structure of the party, and all the legal issues that had followed had always made it anyone could imagine. Unfortunately, it looks like it's not going to survive as much as people thought it could. The stock of the coalition rose when the likes of Peter Obi, the likes of Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, Atiku Abubakar, the likes of Rotimi, not necessarily for the ADC alone, but for the coalition itself. Now it looks like the Labour Party will field a presidential candidate, the PDP will field a presidential candidate, the ADC will field its own presidential candidate, the NDC, of course, the newest bride on the block, would also field its own presidential candidate. So we dive deep into this but we'll also play you soundbite so that when we come back, we just do all the analysis at once. Then we'll allow you join us. First is the voice of Honorable Ogene Afem, one of the guys that are constantly follow Peter Obi everywhere he's gone to. Now he's following him also into the NDC, and of course there is Chief Dele Momodu. I listen to all both of them and say, when we come back, we dive straight into this political conversation. Then we'll allow you to also join us. Stay with us.
This to be a we versus them scenario. Else I would have simply asked you, why didn't Alhaji Atiku Abubakar stay back in the PDP and manage the crisis that erupted as a result of his candidacy only 4 years ago? Why didn't he stay back in the several political parties that he came out to run on as their presidential candidate and thereafter left? I thought that people should be applauding Mr. Peter Obi. Would you rather stew in crisis or rather desire a conducive atmosphere? What Mr. Peter Obi seeks is a country that works for everybody. It's not a political party that is bogged down by several shenanigans, by competing interests in-house, and by government seeking to make sure that he doesn't even appear on the ballot. And short of going to the streets to demonstrate, he decided to avail himself of democratic options available by seeking other platforms. If you talk about Labour Party, who is talking about Barrister Julius Abure today? Mr. Peter Obi, went through the judicial process, and the Supreme Court on April 4th, 2025 did make a landmark pronouncement that the tenure of Julius Abure, which is at the center of the crisis in the Labour Party, was over. And I was part of the team, along with Mr. Peter Obi, Governor Alex Oti, senators and House members, that went to INEC with the certified true copy of this judgment. And INEC said they were going to study it. But they kept studying the same judgment until Mr. Peter Obi left Labour Party on the 30th of December 2025 and declared interest for ADC 4 days later, the Independent National Electoral Commission, if they are indeed independent, now issued a statement saying that without any compulsion, the Abure's tenure was over. So what would you have wanted Mr. P2B to do? I think that that is a vindication of Mr. P2B's stance in the Labour Party. If the highest court in the land had made a pronouncement, instead of trolling state agencies like INEC that ought to give vent to that judgment, and they refuse to, why would you turn around to accuse the person that they are all trying to,
And there's no guarantee that Atiku would even defeat Obi at the primary because they are going to throw it open. But he chose to go. A part of the reason he gave was that there are too many litigations there and there. We don't know where he has gone to now, if there are litigations or not. It doesn't matter to me. I wish him the best. He's not my enemy. Okay, so it's good that you go and test his popularity elsewhere. So let others also, but you cannot force Atiku out for a man because the man says, if me and Kwankwaso come together by 12 o'clock, elections will be over. I'm not that puerile. Okay?
So what
I've been.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. And I want to use this.
I'm going to start very clean and very straight to the point. Mr. Matthew Kudwa, with the exit of Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, Peter Obi, and about 17 lawmakers already from the ADC, have we seen the end of the coalition?
That is, if it's ever half of PDP and
half of APC.
No, and ADC. That's what we saw. Maybe someone will correct me. I can't remember other parties that were
part of the coalition.
But then there was a hope that once that agreement stabilizes,
other parties would join.
But I think that the problem that exists, there are people who believe that for Peter Obi or for an Igbo man to be the president of Nigeria this time is an anathema. That is why anywhere he goes, they look for him. Another problem with him because he's there. If the only place Peter will go and the ruling party will be comfortable is APC. If he doesn't come to APC, let him go to a PR. Is it PRP now? The one is second in command went to now.
Yes, PRP.
PRP. If Obi goes to PRP, someone's going to find out that the name PRP does not mean People Residential Party in INEC register.
You mean people running people?
No, they will find reason.
That's what I'm saying.
They will find reason to attack PRP. But see, there's a difference between this generation and the last generation.
As anybody else.
As anybody else. So Peter Obi has that. Now Peter Obi has what people like Fuad will call organic followership that make people tremble. Do you understand? It's unthinkable. Then two, another problem again is that the so-called zoning, thank God it's not constitutional now, is wrong. Nigeria has always stayed on three tripods. On the tripod of three, north, south, and east. There's no way we can just zone the whole south, both east. That's why when my what's his name that died now, what is his name? I forgot his name now. He came up with handshake. This called zoning is lopsided. It's not going to work for us, and that is what is haunting so many people. We say okay, because it is south, just leave it for
southwest.
No, because it is southern zone. Just leave it for this that wins election. Because he's a southerner, I should not contest with him in 4 years' time. No, we have gone beyond that. Oh, for what is a northerner? Because he's a northerner like me should allow him to. No, it doesn't go like that. Because every year that passes is an opportunity for improvement in national life. If you are a northerner and you have been a president for the past 3 years, remain 1 year, and you are not performing, I will let you go. I will allow you. I will tell you to leave. I have something to do better than you. So it is this hatred, not for Peter Obi, that is causing all this trouble by the political elites. But you see, the youths are beginning to discover the tricks of party looking for now. They're not presenting scorecard. That because of what we have done, we think we can win. No, that's not.
And that's supposed to be for a party that's going for a second term. Results should prove.
Results should second term. Even if President Tinubu completes 2 terms and brings in a third, I mean, for another person, a Southerner, it's like walking. Do you understand? So we keep deceiving the political elite, keep deceiving the rest of us with this zoning thing, with this religious thing. Which one concern me? Which one concern? But we never accept a Christian to lead a ticket. I say, what is this one talking about? Well, let's a Christian to lead the ticket. Is that what you are looking for? As far as we keep thinking like that, we are not going to move up. Competence, ability, so be it. Now, as I was discussing with Fuad earlier, the question was that I think Obi made a mistake to have defected to ADC when he knew that ADC was probably nurtured and monitored for it can. So both Obi that wants the presidency and Atiku that wants the presidency would have been more than a dog fight to become whatever. So when he sees, assumedly, or if he sees that okay for him, I'm not saying better for Nigeria, for him to achieve whatever he wants to achieve and test their popularity, because obviously based on so many factors that we know, that we think we know, except it is by consensus Obi will be picked for ADC. It's difficult for Obi to beat Atiku in a primary because it would have been wiser if he never defected to ADC in the first place. Those are the things we are looking at. So whichever we are looking at it, there are so many permutations that are coming up, so many factors that this is, for me as a person, I think this will be the end, the final end to the civil war if an Igbo man becomes the president of Nigeria.
Okay, and we're going to come back to that. Side forward, a member of the House, and they both disagreed on the defection from the party in recent days. Okay, while Honorable so let me quote him. He said, "We left the ADC because His Excellency Atiku Abubakar said the coalition was formed in his house. That the ADC is his party and nobody can tell him what to do in the party." Those were his words. He said, Honorable Fabi accused the defectors, including Peter Obi, of being scared of challenges, prompting their movement away from the AD. He said, Obi is not a man who likes to. He now went on to say that Atiku is not your problem. The party is not your problem. The court cases are not your problem. You don't want to face the real deal. If you look at the political journey of Peter Obi side forward, from APGA to PDP to Labour Party to ADC, now to the NDC, a lot of people had questioned how much is being involved in terms of context at those political move of Peter Obi. First off, what does this say about his political belief in institutions? And secondly, yesterday, and one of the things that the Obedient movement were saying is that, listen, anywhere Peter Obi goes to, we follow. It is Peter Obi and not the political party. What do you make from all of these movements? And does this in any way whatsoever,
explain to people that politics is what it is? And beyond emotions, when you look at politics, that's why you see that politicians have what you call a boiling room. They have what they are supposed to have,
and look into the reality.
So what they do is to plot the graph. Look at the reality on ground.
The chances,
and we're going to try and compare how the APC coalition came up before 2015 to what we have now, and then question the political choices of has collapsed.
There's still Atiku Abubakar.
No, there's still, whatever it is, there was a coalition. They sold.
There was an announced
coalition. And just making statements, and then promising Nigerians who had always desired that, look, for every Nigerian that had followed the coalition, it was not about these people. It was about the desire for us to save our democracy, to have a viable alternative. We needed to encourage them. There are no saints anywhere. if we are to dissect all the politicians one after the other,
everyone have held offices
even to Peter Obi, if we are to break him down, dissect him, tear him into pieces, he probably would not be sold for anything. But look, the reality is that Nigerians would have to choose. Like they always say, you choose your struggle. So
choose your battle.
You choose your battle. That was what Nigerians were hoping for. That eventually, when this one is a more measured risk than this one that we think has failed us. Before Tinubu came in 2023, like Barrister Curtis would say, it was a shiny object, shiny little object.
When he comes,
this guy is, he says, there was this savior mentality around him. Nobody knew him.
Somebody said if he had not won the election, they would have said the best president would never have.
Now, right. So it is now, is he as good
as he was
as we are told? So this is where we are now. For the coalition, we will probe into the political choices of Atiku and Peter Obi. Like I said some few days ago, they had assembled themselves in Ibadan. In fact, it was then beyond even Atiku and Obi. There was a Rotimi Amechi, Aregbesola, the Makinde, all promising
to field a united candidate.
And I remember when they assembled in Ibadan, what I said was, what they are telling Nigerians in the public space is not as important as what they are able to tell themselves when they lock themselves. The reality is that we had these are political gladiators with different political interests. Will they be able to lock themselves up in a room and agree that for the sake of our gratification, we will go into the doctrine of delayed gratification, step down, drop our ambition,
drop our egos,
look at the best food and tell themselves the truth that based on this power, if you need to bring in political consultant, bring them in to say, sir, we've done your SWOT analysis, we've done your own, we've tried to build up tickets, competing tickets, maybe Obi Kwankwanso tickets. Atiku can advise them using data based on facts and reality on ground to say, this is the best.
This is the best.
This will be the winning ticket. And I remember that 2 editions ago of the political roundtable. Of course, there was the pleasure of having Mr. Mɪᴅ-Wᴇᴇᴅ, who I don't know if there's any journalist in Nigeria who had interviewed all the politicians other than him being the editor of, political editor. A lot of times, what they say, by the time you sit down with them and tell them the reality, their response to you will even shock you that he's talking to them that is there something you are seeing that we are not seeing? And he gave examples of how he has sat down with politicians. They see him.
No get eye.
The man that cannot win a councillorship seat will tell you I'm the next governor.
Yes.
You, from your analysis, you have dissected him that this man to even win a councillorship seat.
He will
be telling you that it is showing something completely different. So this coalition did not get the support of Nigerians because of the individuals in that so-called coalition. I think Nigerians at that time were just hoping to have the opportunity to have alternatives, and not just mere alternatives, a viable alternative. He's following the show, which is here, but I've been seeing him also try. So I was letting him just drop it. And I remember he talked about the research on marshmallows on the show. He was talking about the issue of delayed gratification, and they themselves,
yes.
From Peter Obi to the last person in that coalition, that's why I said Nigerians, if they think Nigerians had followed them because of who they were, they are deceiving themselves. See the bigger picture. Would they see this opportunity beyond immediate benefit, beyond their immediate personal interest to want to become president? We've always talked. Look, no matter what you think about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, strategy. There was also the adoption of delayed gratification.
Like, let these ones do first.
That was what I was saying.
I would lay back.
So when he
came back,
he said, "This one,
like, this is my turn.
This timing.
I've served all of you.
Not only served, I had delayed." If President Tinubu had adopted this same mentality of this opposition coalition, he would have insisted that it was going to be the vice president.
Yes,
the VP. Yes.
The VP.
Yes.
Because the VP slot is one step
to the president.
Yes, go get him. Thinking that would have been, what did he do? For us to scatter this thing, because it was even beyond the sentiment of a Muslim ticket.
No,
there were elements within that coalition who was already plotting that. Because they also had their own idea. People like Saraki and And so they started the noise about Muslim, blah blah blah. What they did, okay, they lost out completely.
But the ACN wing in the merger,
they lost out.
Yeah,
they were kicked out. At that time people are saying, this is the end of Tinubu. He had lost out. Buhari had betrayed him. Did he leave the party?
He never left the party.
He stayed within the party.
He never criticized the party.
Sat back as a leader of the party. But there were days where he was humiliated. There were days where he appeared he has lost everything, despite being a major contributor. That is someone who has the understanding of what timing and what you call delayed gratification. Now, you all look, what gave birth to the idea of a coalition of Peter Obi himself had realized that the constitutional requirement of becoming a president was going to be and he get to where you want him to get to. It's a question they should ask themselves. Nobody is saying people should not follow him wherever he goes. The question is, where is he going? You don't just go blindly now. You say you are leadership and leadership. It's not something you toil with.
It's not child's play.
It's not an emotional thing. You must be very, very strategic.
Politics.
Obviously, his followers will tell you this is a leader that we knew our direction. We learned from him. We know how to plot his graph and get to the promised land. So, anywhere it goes, you go. The question is, where are you going? Where exactly are you going? What is the plan? Okpeyemi. Atiku said, there must be a coalition. They knew that, look, whatever they did before 2020 could be staying apart. The facts are there. There's no need to argue over how Tinubu eventually became the president. And so when I see people coming to say Obi won the last election, I'm like, you are working on sentiments. The facts on ground, no fact on ground
can prove otherwise.
Can prove that he won the election.
You're working on hearsay.
Either figures on the table. Let's do some critical analysis. Did he have a fantastic show?
Yes.
Peter Obi. Did he surprise people?
Yes. Did he upturn the
card? Yes. But he himself and Atiku and others knew
that the moment they went on a separate ticket,
the idea of them, the fact that look, they lose election and go to court, people don't understand. But they accepting that they needed to form a coalition is in itself admitting that it was the reason why Tinubu won. That if they can work, it is what they don't tell the people that they are able to tell themselves that will determine whether they are serious
or not.
And so I will read when Bicycle the late 1960s demonstrated that preschoolers, that's preschool children, who could wait 15 minutes to receive 2 marshmallows instead of eating one immediately, generally achieved better life outcomes. These children later showed higher SAT scores, better coping skills, lower body mass index, and less substance abuse, demonstrating the power of what? Delayed gratification. So what was the old theory? And told they could eat it immediately. However, if they waited 15 minutes without eating it, while the research temptation, that is instant gratification, for a greater future reward, delayed gratification. And then the findings that some children ate the treat immediately, they ate their own marshmallow immediately, while others used. Results shows that follow-up studies over a decade revealed that those who waited delayed gratification generally had better SAT scores, better jobs, lower obesity rates, and higher resilience to. Did we see that as a concept in this so-called coalition arrangement?
Everybody just wanted quick fixes.
No. So what was it about that Ibadan summit where they had said? I'm coming. So the question is, so this was just about personal interest. This was, look, they can all come out to say they are not desperate to become president. The facts on ground show that, look, these were people who just wanted to be president. It was just about me getting there. Now let us even accept that, look, it is in human nature to be desperate. You know, when you are the supporters of Okpeyemi. I was telling Mr. Matthew Okodwa that if you were to go into a JV with someone, maybe real estate, you want to develop a property of Okpeyemi, do you know what they call dotting all I's and crossing all T's?
Yeah.
Before you join yourself,
why it is going on?
Not that you just say, okay, let's go, let's just start. The question is this, Okpeyemi, when it was obvious to Mr. Peter Obi that he needed to leave the Labour Party because, of course, it had been infiltrated, at the point where he decided to join the ADC, What was his sense with his understanding? Number one, what was the point of attraction to the ADC? Number two, what was his conversation with them? Did he at any point start with Atiku? It was a Buhari thing. Everybody went for him. Look, if it's about winning primaries, would Buhari have been able to win any primary? No. Can Buhari win any primary?
There was a reason they brought the primary.
They get money to buy from. They brought him out because he had the number. They all work for him. Money for money, who can he win?
No, but nobody.
If they had left it to money for money, Atiku would have beaten him
by 12 o'clock.
The primaries. But they knew that, look, it was not, this is the man we could push forward. They did the analysis. Everybody, I have everything, I can come out. It was, this is mapping it, working on statistics. This is working on data, working on reality. How do Nigerians vote? What is the voting pattern? It's there. The money sentiment, you can I know they give shishike. No,
you will give.
Those sentiments can sell, but when it comes to the reality of winning the election,
you will give.
Look, see, this is the packaging of Buhari. Only when you need to get there to do whatever reform you want to do. No matter how laudable your idea is,
you have to get there first.
You still have to play the politics. Yes, you still
if
have
you don't get there, you are dead.
You are just there. So where he goes, we go. Go where? This is not to say, look, the reason why the coalition has not worked is his fault. I don't. Because going to a party where you already had Atiku, you had a Rotimi Amechi,
you had a David Mark on that poll, and you know where that is.
You know the people there.
You already have Senator Aminu Tambuwa, and you know what happened at the PDP convention.
You know who they are. So you live in the, so what was it that he discussed with them
before he decided to eventually join?
Decided Obi becomes president. We have to begin to gauge his level of critical thinking at this time. It is not just to say, oh, I will do consumption to production. No, critical thinking is what we are assessing now. When I saw his statement over the weekend, I read it out, and I'm like, I'm sorry. At that level, this statement,
former vice presidential candidate, former presidential candidate,
two-term governor, you've been in the political space. This statement does not go
political party
or join a party or winning through the primaries. Nigeria is a complex state, so if he cannot swim through the murky waters of politics and be more strategic as his position, the reality we have now, look, people keep blame Atiku. The question is, Atiku is who he is. A Peter Obi will never change it. The average Nigerian will never change him. He wants to be president. Oh, he's within his rights. Is that a wrong move or right move? That's his problem. And not have joined the ADC. Moving now to the NDC, I'm sorry, has got a lot of people thinking about.
So let me read something real quick. We'll win the Champions League. He went on to say the Waziri Adamawa cannot be blackmailed. He alone can decide if he will drop for anyone or not. Tinubu wants to make the election a choice election and not a referendum. In a referendum, he needs to defend his record as the president. That is from Barrister Curtis. So, Mr. Matthew Okuda, let me bring you into this conversation. We've been at this political space before. When the merger was going to happen in 2013 February, and then the CPC was coming, the ACN was coming, we're also on stand space. So we had people that had they were holding on to political power as sitting governors, as senators, as leaders of region. Remember, Adams Oshiomhole was the governor at that time. If the coalition had worked, Mr. Matthew Okuda, if the SDP, the AAC says the same political profile or portfolio that the 2015 people came with, now there's a difference between coalition and merger. Merger is you're coming in with interest, individuals coming together, political structure. But the coalition means that every political party, are we looking at the same situation, Mr. Matthew Okuda? And what do you make of the NDC? I wanted you to talk about it specifically because overnight, everybody's talking about the NDC now. The same way we're talking about election in this country. We have over 180,000 polling units. It means we would have to produce agents for every of those single polling units. Mr. Matthew says structure. It's not just about the people now, that we see around. We're talking about how to drive the message down to the people. Does Peter Obi have the personality
of APC then. But the CPC on its own never had that kind of wide reach. So when you're talking about the coalition, the challenges you just raised now is what the coalition or the merger are supposed to solve. So as Peter Obi as a person,
just a regular
until Obi join them. So in this coalition, or the supposed coalition that looked to have collapsed now, if it has worked, but I said that the result could be different. Because as I said earlier, if this government had achievement to count, then it would be okay. But with that, this Peter Obi made that mistake to have defected from Labour to ADC. Yes, he had the reason to have left Labour. The former Vice President Atiku, who has labored hard with the resources and everything to build ADC. Maybe his calculation was this zoning mentality that so for him, he thinks that is at least a little advantage for him. Only for him to discover.
And then he was always talking about the fact that, if the South would continue and complete, he would only do 4 years.
4 years. We'll forget whether that was going to be true or not, I don't know. But that was really a catchword for him. That he was going to do 4 years, I mean, so that was his calculation.
Go to
the South.
Mr. Okodwa, should Obi have assumed? Do you work on assumption?
The numbers
put it on the table.
Election is less than 1 year.
How do you assume and then join a party? Just on assumption?
I'm coming to that. You are talking about perhaps those who accepted Obi into ADC also assumed this is where we are now. You are chairman, not. Are you giving the presidency to the south, to the north, or to the south? In the north? All those things should have been ironed out on the table, which we are not. So for the past 6 months, since December, right?
What have the October?
No,
he joined in December.
That I'm saying, as in December when he joined, it means everybody has been suspecting themselves.
That's what he said.
Everybody has been suspecting themselves. What does he want? He think we can give him here a joiner. You understand? But Obi definitely is a joiner. Now you say I should talk about NDC. NDC is to what happened, the happenstance in Labour in 2022, that once Obi join, things will move. But again, as the popular opinion is that except after they have arranged themselves in various parties, they can find a way to come back together. As it is now, as it is today, you have mountains to move. The coalition ADC, NDC, I try to look at whatever
variables can work in their favor.
The variables that except divine intervention can come. You get it now. But from what is on ground, they need to move mountains beyond the tricks they will pull from their sleeves now, to become because the ruling party, they are not sleeping. As I said, they are not coming to sell their achievements. It is this to be successful in Nigerian politics, you have to be crooked. It's not a crooked politician. It's not a politician that that is how do you call this now. It's not a politician that whether right or wrong. Those are the ones that win politics in Nigeria. But if you are so decent, you don't win.
Can I ask Mr. Matthew Okodwa, is there enough time for as long as Nigerian constitution does not allow independent candidacy, political parties will continue to remain a platform upon which ticket is Obi Kwakwaso movement, because those were part of the ticket that were being thrown up in the ADC. Do they have enough time from the creeks in Bayelsa to the streets of Tunawada in Kano to Ikole in Ekiti to Angwaru Kuba in Jos? Do they have the personality? We saw how it was easy. We talked about they have that political clout to make people say, we don't care what party you are coming from. Who wants both of you?
Well, these are, strong politicians with very strong followership. Rabbi Musa Kwankwan is more like
Kano.
It's Kano.
It's like his toy zone.
So for him to have been able to hold his own to the point where when you talk about Kano politics, the first name that comes to your mind is Rabbi Musa Kwankwan. So means he's been able to surprise so many political pundits. Whatever he did in 2023 will go into the history books as the biggest political shock of this century, because that was a man that people are saying, oh, he's not going to win a local. Look, he won states that, look, for him to even have won Lagos. Of all states.
Lagos.
And he won even in the north central.
Yes, he won Plateau, he won Benue.
I think Nasarawa.
Yes.
Then in the south, look at the constitutional threshold. Still requires that he has to do a lot of work. He has to stretch his hands across
beyond even the Niger.
Go across and go even to the Sahara Desert. He needs to do a lot of work, and that was why, for pundits, the calculation was that, look, he needed to work with. Look, Tinubu working with other people was a strategic decision. The Tinubu of the Southwest alone could not have won the
election, of course.
He needed to have foot soldiers. He needed to stretch his hands.
The 25%.
He kept picking the numbers he needed.
He kept picking the numbers. So what it means is that, look, despite Atiku's influence in the north, there were still people in the north who were doing the work for him. The 2/3 of the 24 states matters. You must be able to grind out the result, even if you have the simple majority. If you don't meet that constitutional threshold, you are not. I'm just saying is that, look, he would not have joined the ADC in the first place. This idea of they tricked him, I even think it's an indictment to use the word they tricked him.
No, but he didn't say it was.
I know he's a supporter now. You can't say they tricked him. How would you trick him?
I just say something this morning. The problem with Obi in 2023 was that his deputy was a political neophyte.
That one, okay.
So that one could not win the election in the north.
Numbers for him.
He couldn't even win his state.
So
he couldn't win his local government.
So he needed somebody in the north, just like Kwankwaso
is now,
who could actually reach out to the
balance or whatever he's coming with, and maybe Gombe.
Be just a part of.
Doesn't Zelensky give you
might
that
not be able to grind out all the results. Peter Obi needs.
Even the Kano is now having a sitting governor that is in the opposition and the ruling party.
We have not seen the complete constellation who will help them out. I mean, not just them. Every politician, even Tinubu as the
president, he needs the people
need to go out.
And what do you think is harvesting the governor?
That is it.
Okay, so harvesting the governors means he knows.
He knows
that they need to do the hard work for their tank team when they sit down with their
kitchen cabinet.
Their kitchen cabinets, when they take with their strategic policy makers and all of that. The reality is always what they discuss, or the assumption is that they discuss the reality and not the sentiments and the emotions.
Outside, yes.
Whether we like it as or not, as a people, there are religious considerations.
Sure. The tribal sentiments.
The tribal sentiments are there.
Sure.
The zonal conversation
is there. The monetization
is there. The money issue is there. So those are issues. All leadable your ideas are.
You need to get power.
You need to be there.
You need to win election first. You can't be presiding it.
So okay, just imagine a coalition ticket. This is not to put out any ticket.
So the Southwest,
then you have
Abdullah combining Kwara State with
then you have Kogi going into the south to push all of his weight behind the ticket.
All of them.
Donald all of these guys. Then you have Atiku himself. History of Atiku from the PDM of old, the Yadwa family, and how he's been able to hold his own,
and that is why he believes he can win.
And that's why he believes he can win.
That's why he said
whether you like
have
it or
to give
not,
it another shot.
So imagine Atiku now working for a ticket.
If Buhari had not been contesting on tickets that Atiku would have been president.
It would have been a different conversation. So imagine all of. So that was.
I think the declaration was too early.
That they chewed their cards.
Yeah, I'm saying it was too early.
Look, to take people, and that's why I'm sorry. I told you in private, nothing is right or wrong again in political. At least,
yes.
One thing is certain.
Everybody's everywhere now. Choose
PDP weekend now as a presidential candidate.
Yes. Someone has picked up before.
It's not an option.
Yes.
NDC has to be the OK ticket. It's an option.
Well, the ADC
now, maybe Atiku, Rotimi Amechi or whatever.
It's also an option. There's the APC.
So the APC. So as it stands now, for me,
our guy,
to monitor what your friends are saying. And then eventually see what Nigerians will do in 2027. Odabo.
Wow. This is real Odabo. Time just make it as quick and as brief as possible. 0913600410. Well, we've talked about the unfortunate xenophobic attack going on in South Africa and how the government needs to came home, decided to look deep into the politics of the coalition. As it failed, as it collapsed, was there ever a coalition where the interest for the people of Nigeria, or is just a case of what I want to get at 600-0410? Akin Adigun from Yanopaja says, good afternoon to you guys. On Peter Obi's move, I want to appreciate Side Forward specifically for his frank observation and submission of Mr. Peter Obi's politics vis-a-vis his competence to hold the Nigerian presidency. I hope many other Nigerians will be discerning in making their final choice. Okay, I missed that call real quick. You said Tinubu was strategic and delayed his gratification and we should leave governance aside. And my jaw dropped, Mr. Forward. But here you are every day complaining and analyzing the state of the nation.
Don't misunderstand.
If you don't talk about governance under Tinubu, or what use is his political? Benadoyi from Ijanikin says, apart from the external factors that we're suspecting is coming in from the ruling APC, there's still disunity amongst the coalition. If you are Atiku, seeing the mass defection from the ADC after Obi and Kwaku, will be comfortable with the 3-horse race, because as things stand now, congratulations to Tinubu ahead. Obi and Atiku are not good politicians. That is bringing calmness and experience into the analysis. Side Forward has said it all. The situation of the country demands that the people would have to make their choice from the options available, good or bad. That is Festus from Ikorodu. Good afternoon to you, Oga and Side Forward and Mr. Kodwa. What the ruling party is doing is nothing but the politics of hatred to other parties. They disrupt PDP by Wike. They disrupt Egun from Ogbayo Ijoko beside Unity High School, Ogun State. We'll come back to the messages. Let's pick some calls. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, find a way to sort this out. I think we're having a little disconnect with the phone. So I need the guys running the election that they rigged the election for APC, that Peter Obi won the election. Mr. Ford and Mr. Okpe, I'm telling the two of you that if Obi, Atiku and Kwakwaso are together in the 2023 coalition, APC will still have won the election in 2020. It's a pity. We find ourselves...
Don't say what nobody has said. You just come up with these things, and the El-Rufai said they rigged the election. Where did they revise it?
I can't remember that.
Okay, so let's quickly go on Facebook. Bilatus Abraham says, good afternoon to you guys. ADC will not be on the ballot in 2027 election. The sooner you realize that, the better for everyone. Peter Obi is smarter. Let's see if we can get lucky with that. Falomo Bolade says, good afternoon to you guys. All moving been brave enough and zoned the presidency to the south. They would have maintained the momentum. The agreement before the Ibadan opposition gathering Pᴏᴜᴜ insisted on contesting is a snack, and his ambition collapsed the PDP and did not allow the coalition to.
Good afternoon.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Jinani. Big shout out to the guys there. Thank you.
And come back because they have their own tradition there. They have their tradition there. That is the doctrine people should go and preach to them if they rescue some of our people from that place. You don't know what will happen in Tanzania or Kenya and some. Every politics is local and everybody has his own tradition. You can make your money wherever you are. Better for you. We can't go by aggression.
Thank you.
And I'm telling you, nobody is an island to himself.
Thank you, Enginani. Thank you very much. First of all, let me apologize for eating into your 30 minutes.
Good afternoon.
You're welcome.
This is Kenny from Mushin.
Mr. Kenny, good to have you join us real quick.
Yeah. You got to be so all of them look quite all right that they lost 2023 election through the fragmentation of the oppositions. That's why they want to do this coalition by 2027. But the allusion, the message will be talking to confronting what to say that he won the election. Because media vote. Second, 24% in 25% in two thirds, that's 24 states. That's it. But we must continue to stand.
Thank you very much. I think Side Forward had also explained that for the show. James Ogbona from Oshodi says, a distinguished gentleman in the studio agreed to enthusiastically. Mr. Forward's spoke that brought him into power is flawed, and he began to do things to change the corrupt system. I guess I'm still an obedient, but if I see Mr. Peter Obi, I'll tell him to play the Nigerian politics and get into office first. Then you can change the system. You can't change it when you're not in power. But Mr. Ford, they accused former governor Ambode of I'm still confused as to whom I'll vote for in 2027, but to definitely not be President Tinubu. Okay, thank you. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. Joseph and Gaffawado. People do not doing underground check before going into EDC. But I think both monetary and with human resources. That is why you don't just take up any decision and decide on what you do. That is why not be all this back and forth. Now in South Africa, and some people are misunderstanding it. They are not talking about people are breaking their law, people are violating all these things. Nobody is talking about. They're talking about these people showing disrespect to other black people in their country, saying they don't want them. Nobody violate their law. Just like a normal.
Just says, good afternoon, Mr. Okodo and Super Said and Okwe. Afrophobia needs to be condemned by all African leaders before it very much. Zino Agawa says, Mr. Fuad is too harsh with his analysis on Sir Peter Obi. Not now because he no get base for not. Now he went into join two. You are now in the studio saying he shouldn't have joined the ADC in the first place. Shay, if you go into something and something come later, the drifts go left from the initial agreement, will you still stay there? Yes, we obedient on the whole country, building bridges from the south to the north to the south, and he's never rested. You are in the studio, Mr. Fars, saying Sir Peter Obi lacked critical thinking. Sir, that is an insult to the person of Peter Obi. You guys will be shocked with the revolution that was to stay alive, so that he would enjoy whatever Peter Obi is offering if he wins the election. And Mr. Fuad, you know, try today with this analysis on Peter Obi.
Because you didn't hear what you want to hear.
He won't bribe.
I'm not here to make you.
He won't bribe anyone to vote him in. No vex, I beg. No vex.
Get it wrong, eh? At the message where you all read last, you say it takes Peter Obi time to join this coalition. You don't want them to say that, oh, he's supposed to join. They say when he enter, you can go to fight for inside. But the arrangement was that he's going to do they are going to do primary. So even some of us, we went to go and register people. That will explain to them. If you want Peter Obi, do consensus because there's no time again. And you can you face Peter Obi? Can you do the remark of say you will not win the consensus, you will win. So these are the things.
Do you know what the consensus arrangement is?
Everybody must agree.
The aspirants must agree.
All of them. That's the difference between consensus and endorsement.
Why are you mixing it up?
Okay. This is a whole lot. Mr. Fuad, your analysis today changed though. Please leave Peter Obi for us. Anywhere he goes, we follow and go because we are tired of the old faces of government. Good afternoon to your and the team. ADC would not be on the ballot in 2027. The sooner you realize that, the better. That is Bailatus from Gowon Estate. Let's see if we're lucky with Pastor Ambrose.
Good afternoon.
I got your message on obedient movement. Okay, so he needs to keep moving.
A lot of Nigerians will not gender. If Obi is the vice, if it is power Obi is looking for, he could have become the vice president. He has his agenda. So if he is the vice president, has popularity. And when they now finish, they will now give him vice president and they will just destroy all his plans. I'm not saying that he's a threat and I'm not saying that he's going to do, but like I always say, let us give him chance. This I'm telling you,
I have to let you go. I promise you that we'll revisit this conversation tomorrow. Mr. Side Forward, Mr. Kodwa, Side Forward, I have a message I want to read for you. And I will eventually tell you who sent the message. I'm listening to you guys from Toronto, Canada a lot and eventually contest and win. The truth remains the opposition is not ready. ACN CPC started the merger since win. There is no paradigm shift. There is no major decampaigns. They don't have the funding and the grassroots structure. This message is from Canada and it don't move to Canada. We have to go. We can't pick calls again. We cannot read messages again. But I promise you tomorrow is on Thursday. And that will be the last English version of the show. I will try my best to make sure. Thank you for always adding the extra spice to the conversations on Wednesday. Thank you very much. And of course, Mr. Man FM, the midweek edition of The Balls. You can call in and request for songs of your choice. And by 4 p.m., there's going to be Sage Babalola on Sports Cruise. We told you guys that Arsenal was going to win yesterday. They did. I will talk about all of those by Satan Shenanigans person. My name is Okoyemi Akinda. Have a beautiful afternoon and bye for now.